Welcome to This Commerce Life. We are an unscripted podcast dedicated to small businesses and entrepreneurs in the retail and consumer packaged goods space in Canada and the United States.
I am Phil Chang, co-host and co-founder.
And I'm Kenny Vanucci, co-host and co-founder of This Commerce Life.
Our love is the journey to retail, and our passion is sharing that with you every week.
While trying to stay warm with this crazy cold snap coming through.
Where did this come from, this thing?
I don't know.
You guys are cold? Like, what's the temperature?
Okay, so like 2 days ago, Kenny, it was like 10 degrees here. And then it was like, it rained, it hailed, it snowed, then it hailed, then it rained, then it stopped, and then the temperature like dropped right out. I think what are we, like -5 now?
Something. I know when I left this morning, it was -8 walking my daughter over to school. But yesterday at 11 o'clock, I was walking out of a coffee meeting in a hoodie with my sleeves rolled up because it was 17 degrees.
That's right. Like it's
our cold front, I think, started because we got really cold a couple of days ago. Now, obviously, it's pushed.
You're responsible for it. You can keep your damn weather. Like, honestly.
Too late. We gave it to you. Take it, enjoy it, have fun, knock your socks off. We don't give a shit. We are all good.
It was wild. I was driving home last night and be careful because this quick freeze is going to have icy roads. And I got to the top of a hill. And as my headlights kind of tilted down, you just saw the sheen the whole way down towards the lights at the bottoms, which were turning red on me. I was like, I'm going to start stopping now. Didn't skid because I know how to drive on ice because, 6 years in Quebec teaches you a lot about snow and ice. But, I definitely saw a few cars skittering a little bit. I was like, yeah. Wild. Just wild.
I feel like I see you all the time. I follow you on LinkedIn. I like your posts.
Oh, thanks.
And I have to tell you this too, because I don't know if it came out last night, but I teach at Centennial College, here at Scarborough, and there are a whole bunch of kind of marketing grads and post like digital certificate guys, so pros that have come back to Centennial to certify for all sorts of digital, and they have all, you're one of those kind of requisite guys on LinkedIn that I've said, as you're building your LinkedIn, Jared does this really cool thing every month where he starts to collect like places where co-op students need to go. Like if you're looking for a co-op, Jared's got probably one of the most comprehensive posts on like who's hiring, who's not hiring, like places to look. So you've come up like super high for those guys as well. So like on behalf of those students, thank you as well. It's hard to find, those leads. So
I've been pushing people to you too, even on the West Coast, because the job list is cool. I even think this pod, I was telling Phil, he goes, it was either I said, he said, I go, what's he on for today? I said, because I think I said a while ago, I thought, it's really cool post.
Who cares? Like Jared
goes on that. Does it matter? I said, well, it does, because I'm trying to remember.
Matter why Jared's here.
Well, it does to me because I can't remember why the hell he's here. And it was something, and I don't remember what.
I think what? Not is really the answer.
Yeah, I think we've wrapped up the last one here. Like we keep talking for hours. Let's do this again. I was like, let's do it. But I really appreciate that, guys. I put a lot of effort into what I do on LinkedIn with the goal of being able to provide value and share what I know, especially with those who are coming out into the industry who aren't aware of how things work and stuff like that. And the job posts are a weekly thing every Monday. It's been part of my content. Sharing jobs have been part of my content strategy forever. It's always been part of what I've done. I got really structured and made regular at the beginning of the pandemic. I was up to doing it at one point for several months. I was doing 3 posts a week, just because, I had time to do it. Lots of people were looking, and it was great content for me to share. And now I'm busier and don't have time to, spend sourcing around as much. But it's a bit of a double-edged sword for me, to be honest, because those posts outperform all my other content 5 to 10 times. I get, however many posts I think I have about 2,000 views or so on a post. Normally, I'm getting 8 to 15,000 views on that job post, and I totally get it. There's lots of people looking for work, and not so many people care about how to make your packaging pop or what consumers are looking for when they go shopping. Totally get it, but the downside to that, which isn't such a big downside, I have lots of people who reach out to me thinking I'm a recruiter. despite the fact the second line in all these posts is, I'm not a recruiter, I'm not in career coaching, I can't help you get a job, I'm just sharing this to make it easier for you to find stuff. And it's a minor annoyance. I have a post about this coming out in a couple of weeks, but it's not a major annoyance for me because it takes like a minute for me to type in like, hey, thanks so much for reaching out. I can't help you with any of this because I'm not an expert, but like cool to connect. And someone asked me recently, like, why don't you just stop doing the post? I'm like, no. I like doing it because I like to know who's hiring because for me, it's also a bit of a business development tool, right? I come before this as a management consultant. So when you see, absolutely, you get to see who's hiring, who's growing, who's doing what they might be doing. And it allows me to reach out to the founders or their marketers team for all these different brands saying, hey, I notice you're hiring this type of marketing. That's amazing. What are you looking for the rest of the year? What are your challenges with this? And 99% of the time, it's not an opportunity for me. And anyone who knows me knows that that's not why I'm reaching out anyways. If there's an opportunity for us to work together, it comes up organically just from chatting and sharing ideas. And I just was chatting with the founder last week, actually. They're doing a whole bunch of really cool stuff right now. I said, great. So what are you doing to get your product off shelf? Like, what are you doing? It's like, well, we're doing this tactic and this tactic and this tactic and this tactic. We're doing all these things. And I just don't think we're doing them very well. I'm like, well, yeah, if you're doing all those things, just throwing it against a wall, I agree. Like, yeah, we just hired a marketer and you have to meet her. She's incredible. Gents, she is brilliant. She comes from big CPG. She knows what the hell she's doing. And like we ran through in the first 15 minutes, she's like, here's what we've done. Here's what we're doing. Can you help me get this into store? I'm like, nope, that's not my jive. Go talk to Hive Natural. They're amazing. But here's what I do. She goes, oh, I'd love to do a proper omnichannel shopper campaign with you, but we're not going to be ready for you until maybe this time next year. I went, awesome. So how can I help you between now and then? Who can I introduce you to? What can I connect you with? And like, she's like, oh, I know this. I'm like, yeah, perfect. That's what it's all about, right?
I think that's what it's about too. Now, back to your irritation. What drives me crazy is the fact they don't read.
Yes.
See, so to me, I know it's only a minute and a half. I get that, and I appreciate that. But if I've got 20 people, and this happens, like I get so much junk mail in LinkedIn, and it's because you're looking to hire. And I'm thinking, no, not really. I don't know where you would have got that information. Oh, your webpage. I don't really know where you got that information either. Do you need help with SEO? Oh, did you see the SEO package we put out? Like I'm thinking, take 3 seconds, just 3 seconds, just read.
Yep.
Because honestly, it's not a big deal, but it is a big deal because it makes it hard for me to recommend you if I think your reading skills are really that limited. We're line 2 you missed.
Totally. I completely agree. And the post I've coming out is exactly that. The devil's in the details, right? Like
exactly.
There's a reason
it tells me way too much about you.
100%. And the reality is, I also put this in the upcoming post. I don't refer people to anything directly unless we've worked together before, or I know you're a former employer and I can call them and I know them well enough that I can be like, give me the skinny. Is this legit or not?
Yeah.
Because ultimately it's my brand that you're asking me to extend to you. And I've put way too much effort into my brand to do it. And so if your first outreach to me shows me that you haven't caught a detail, that's not a great first impression. And it's so tough to change that first impression. And going beyond that to a slightly bigger scale for a second, just so we can jump into more stuff. Thinking about who you're reaching out to in that end consumer or that end message receiver is vital to success. We all understand this, but I'm sure you've heard about Wendy's wonderful surge pricing that isn't surge pricing fiasco. Kellogg's trying to position eat our cereal for dinner, but doing so at saying give up your chicken. Low income families, you want me to trade off my protein healthy option for a very sugary one? No.
What?
No.
What?
But right up there, like the Manulife Lava one too. Like, how did you not think like marketing teams, communication teams, like you've put all these brands are now into panic mode, trying to fix the problems that if they just stopped for 1 second and thought outside of their own walls and thought about what the perception would be from literally everybody else, there's no way they would have said it. If honestly, like Wendy's had come out and said it properly to say, we're introducing dynamic pricing with the goal of being able to deliver better value to consumers by giving discounts at low periods so that we can help drive traffic. First of all, this wouldn't have made news. Nobody would have cared about that. Those of us in the industry would have known. Like I follow food service quite a bit in QSR, so I would have kept we would be like, oh, that's cool. But the consumers wouldn't know. They wouldn't care. But
no, consumers would love it. Like what do you think bars do? Bars say, look, nobody comes in.
What do you think happy hour
3
is?
and 6. So if you come in for happy hour, why is it happy? Because we're happy you came. That's it.
Totally.
Yeah. You know what? Our staff, we can hire more staff because we spread out our day. Yeah. So what you're doing is you're good for employment. Yeah. You're good to keep product fresh. You're good to 100%. Keep, there's people in our place. We like talking to people. Like you can make such a great story. But as soon as you see the surge pricing, what's surge pricing? That's that fucking Uber thing where it's $2 now, $75 in a minute. That's what surge pricing is. So you've screwed the message that you can never get that back.
Completely.
It's funny. I saw that and I thought, why didn't you? Is that like, I wonder if it's a generational thing, because happy hour is more of an, like, I guess happy hour is an older expression, but I always thought, like, why do it new? Like, but why do it new? Like, you have it already, right? Like, it's an established principle that people would go, I totally get happy hour.
Exactly.
I actually understand all of it. I understand the economics of it. I understand why you would want to do it. And then honestly, I don't give a fuck when I want to drink. Like, I'm happy to drink earlier in the day. This is all good.
But the thing is, you know, Phil, the funny thing is, happy hour is extended to food. Like, you go into bars now in the city, it's not happy hour about going to get sloshed. It's about going to happy hour. I get a beer or a cocktail for lesser than normal. Plus, I get about a half dozen appies. That I can play with. So all of a sudden, it could be that, you know what, I don't want to eat till 6. Let's just go hang out at 3, shoot the shit for a couple hours. They're going to get a way bigger bill out of me. 100%.
Oh,
100%.
absolutely.
I'm enjoying myself. The staff's enjoying themselves because staff like to be busy. They don't want to be dead.
Yeah.
I mean, but you know, again, the surge thing, like, I mean, what's positive in surge pricing?
Nothing. It's just bad reputation. And the reality is, I know. So first of all, he should have been coached way better before he hopped on that call and said what he said. So, like, slap on the wrist to that marketing team and the PR team. But, you know, he was saying it because he was talking to his shareholders. But here's the reality. Shareholders understand if you're driving more traffic to the stores, it's more revenue, means more profit. They don't care. Like, shareholders get it. They understand it. But you have to understand that if this is a public forum, it's going to get out there. Like, I don't.
And that would drove me crazy because I just laughed because I thought, you know, guys, you know what we're going to do? We're going to have happy hour because during these blocks of time, we're a little slower. Give you a break. Come on in. Better for you too. It's not as busy. We can give you great service.
You don't wait. You'd be thinking,
I can wait till 1:30.
Yeah.
I go at noon. It takes too long. Yeah, okay, I'll hang on.
We actually, I don't know. You do it anyway, right? Like, most of the time, you kind of go, look, I don't want to go. If I've got to have that, I'm not going at noon because I got to line up. I'll be there. You know,
or now it's going to make it more exciting for me to go at noon because I know I don't care unless let's say I don't care about $3. Not to say we don't, just humor me. I don't care about the $3 as much as I care about my time. But well, if I know now that shit, you know what, they might have just dropped customer count by 20% at that time. This is way better time for me to go. I'll go at noon. I know there's a whole bunch of people going at 1:30. Thank you guys. I mean, you freed up my time.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, there was no negative in that whatsoever. Like, there was such a great, and then I thought, you guys are idiots. Like, you've blown this one. Such a great campaign. Happy hour at Wendy's. Wow.
Would have been
surge
amazing.
Pricing. Let's go surge pricing. Dumbass.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's a trend. The last 2 months, it's just been, you know, every week there's another story of some brand saying something and putting their foot in their mouth. And, you know, it's, as we're all marketers, and, you know, I just look at that going, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah.
It can't, like, anyways, they spend so much more trying to fix these problems, and all it would have taken is an extra 5 minutes of thinking and planning before they hit go. Which is often all too far. Like, going back to, like, you know, you get probably all the same emails I do. Hey, we see you do this. Can we help you with this service? If you look at my website, you're asking me to come and do what I do.
That's most of it. Yeah.
It takes 30 seconds to just check. Do a quick search, right? Because the reality is, you know, someone was pitching me incredibly hard the other day. Coming from a management consulting side of things. Well, we help these leaders do these things. I'm like, I have 7 years in this experience, by the way. I did that for 7 years before I came to agency. So I understand all this stuff inside out and backwards. And as one salesperson to another, I can tell you that under 5% of my wins across my entire career came from getting a connection, exchanging one little pleasantry message, and then pitching. What it took was talking about what the challenges are, learning about that company, providing a couple of free resources, or just some expertise knowledge. And then I'm going to be like, oh, so what exactly do you do? Oh, you do what I used to do. Oh, very cool. You know what? I don't need that service, but you know what? I work with a ton of small brands and founders who need leadership support, who don't have the right structure in place, who are trying to create these cultures. Let me introduce you. But to get to there, you've got to earn my trust, because I'm not going to refer you. I don't think you can do what you're going to do.
100%. Because all I do now is it's delete. I don't respond. Like, you're kind. You are a very nice man. I ain't that guy.
I delete
I
lots.
do not respond. You know what you get from me? Zero. You
To
get
be
an
very clear,
unfollow.
I delete tons and tons for that. But yeah,
I won't
the unfollow
respond.
I don't do. I can't. I don't want to take the time to actually go back. So I'm never going to hear from them again. If you want to be a number of my stats, fine. I don't really give a crap. I don't pay attention to those. The number of followers connections I have are vanity metrics. I don't really give a crap anyways. But
you know the one that really upset me, like, because we have the tea business, right? And we've been getting people on the tea business who are like, hey, is anyone there? Can you respond ASAP? And I think the first 3 times, you know, like, because I'm in customer service mode, right? Like, I've got 18,000 things to do, and I see this and I go, fuck, did I miss something? So I respond, and they're like, I want to talk to you about your SEO. I'm like, okay, so, you know, so I think one guy actually said, I will never, ever, 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 ever hire you. And he was like, what'd I do? And I go, okay, so first of all, you came in under the pretense that you were a paying customer. What do you think I was doing? I dropped everything else I was doing to make sure that I covered. And so for you to make me drop everything else I'm doing to make me respond like you were a consumer so you could pitch me?
no, it's not the way to do it. Do you
Well,
guys
murder.
you guys follow TLDR on TikTok at all?
No, I don't do TikTok.
I do.
So we'll send you some videos, Kenny, because you'll enjoy it. So
I got my because you say that. My daughter sent me a TikTok this morning, right? And I go, "What is this?" Because that's not on my phone.
Yeah.
She's going, well, you got to what do you call it? I love that the thumbs up. She goes, you got to. It's a new swipe right or something. I said, Carly, I don't know what you're talking about.
No. I'll download the video and send it to you because I don't send TikToks anymore because I know too many people who aren't on it. But
I don't know what you want from me.
Yeah.
So what's this guy here? I don't understand what you're sending me.
Yeah. So the guys at TLDR, their social team, they do these little skits of all the different departments talking to each other, and they're so on point and just so they're hilarious. I love watching them. I'm going to use the software for the record just because it's not pertinent to what I do. But there's 2 of them who do it now, but the original guy had a video not so long ago talking about these cold outreaches. And he goes, I feel for salespeople because, it's a tough gig. You're doing all these calls. You got to get measured on it. And he goes, I get tons of them because I'm the face and I do all this stuff. And I delete 99% of them. But this one came through and I read it and he actually shared I don't think he said the company. He goes, look, here's how she went through. And in the first message had a point of personalization that showed they checked out his profile. The next one was highlighting a problem that he had talked about on a post 2 weeks previously. So not just looked at the profile, but gone through and done it. So he's like, now you've got my attention. You've got me 3 lines into your email.
Shit, man.
I'm now going to read what it is. And he wrote, and he's like, look, I took it up to my team. They said, we're not ready for it yet. It's not quite the right solution we're looking for. Maybe down the road as we grow. So, they still going to have to wait a year, 2 years, maybe never to get to business. But you know what? I'm now thinking about them. I created a whole post about them. I'm like, yeah, that's what good salespeople do, right?
Yeah.
We take the time to understand our consumer.
Clever shit. Yeah.
Well, it's all of it, right? If you read my profile, I don't have an accounts receivable problem. I don't have accounts payable problem. I'm not hiring anybody. This is what I get every.
I also don't need a tech stack, so please
every freaking day.
Tech stack. I'm a podcast. I do not need a tech stack. I don't need a software program.
I don't need a human resource person.
No,
I don't need a salesperson. I don't know why you cannot just read. I've gone through your profile. No, you haven't. You've gone through the standard line of I've gone through your profile. You haven't done anything.
No,
Take 5 minutes.
You know what? Here's a really fun fact for everyone. If you want to book a meeting with me, literally every single person listening to this podcast can book 30 minutes of my time completely free of charge. If they spend literally 30 seconds going to my profile. My Calendly link has lived in my profile now for 2.5 years. Twice, I think. Maybe twice. I don't even know if I got to twice. Someone has booked a meeting with me, and I go, who the hell is that? Because I send my Calendly, I give it to people to book, so I typically know it's coming. Maybe twice. Someone has booked it, I went, who the hell is this? And I go through, and we're not connected, nothing else, and I have a little line there saying, this isn't a chance to pitch. Don't you dare come and try and use this time inappropriately. And both of them had a really nice little comment about why they wanted to connect with me. And I went, damn, you took the time to do it. And even if you had said, you know what, I know you said you don't want to pitch, but I read through this stuff and I think this might be of interest to you.
100%.
I would take that because you went through that much effort. 100%, I'll give you my time.
And if you thought it through, if you read what I did and you really still think that I can use you, I'm kind of intrigued because I don't know. I mean, I definitely don't know everything. I don't know much of anything. Yeah. So anytime someone can say, you've done this, this, and this, I think I can help you here. I'd be thinking, shit, yeah, awesome. I think you probably could because you're helping me now because I haven't even thought of that. So yeah, I'll take
totally. Totally, right? And it's but it's shocking. I have people who reach out to me and like, hey, can we book time? I'm like, yep, go to my profile and find my link. And they never follow through. I'm like, guys, it's literally at the bottom of my about section. It's not hard to find. I think I even have it dedicated a separate little paragraph with it in there. People just don't want to take the effort.
They don't put the effort.
So I'm doing some work for a client, and we got a press release out on the site, and one of the media guys on the press side, in his bio, he has his email, but he spells it out, right? Because he gets lots of junky stuff, I assume. And so I was laughing when I read it because I was like, oh, okay, so it's like Michael at, and he puts AT and then whatever, and then he actually puts .dot .com, right? So I was like, oh, I understand. So I send him an email and I go, by the way, super clever. I really love that you spelled it out. And like the first 10 minutes when I got it, he was like, hey, so call me. And I was like, okay, this is unconventional. Because usually with press releases, you send them, they go, thank you very much. I have a couple of questions here or there. Thanks, we got it, right? And he was like, hey, call me. So I like called him, right? And because he gave me his phone number, like how many press people will give you their phone number, right? So I call and we have this great chat. I am laughing my ass off. And he was like, so I just wanted you to call so I could tell you thank you for reading my profile and then actually being relevant. And I was like, listen, man, I thought it highly rewarding because I read it awesome. and it was like finding treasure, right? And he started laughing. We had like a great time. It was just like a great bonding moment, right? Like
I mean, if you check out so my agency, the Think Tank, we go by TTT. So there's the Think Tank. It's a very common name, surprisingly. And so at the end of my LinkedIn on the company page, it has TTT, which also mirrors in my profile. The fact that we have the Think Tank bracket TTT close bracket allows me to immediately identify every single person who's using scraped data, because anyone else wouldn't put all that in there because anyone else just either use TTT or the Think Tank. Not this long thing. I'm like, the second I see it, just like you can delete. You're never going to get my attention because I know you're scraping info.
I'm just one of those guys. If you can't literally spend just a couple seconds, that's all I'm asking. I'm not asking you to read everything I've done. I don't care because I won't remember it anyway. I don't remember what I've done. So it's not going to help you. But at least get my name. Understand that I don't need human resources. I don't need hiring. I don't need fire. I don't need AP. I don't need AR. I don't need SE. I don't need any of this shit. I'd love to come on your podcast. Here's what I have. Yeah, I'll read that.
For sure.
I got a podcast.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, like, shit, at least hit a couple. At least get it into the wheelhouse just a little bit.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Oh man, what else is going on with you? What's new? I feel like we haven't seen you.
We haven't talked in ages.
A long time.
It's been a bit. What's been going on? A whole bunch of really positive stuff in my personal life that's just been keeping me really busy. I'm now an uncle 3 times over. Wow. My brother's had his first. Thank you. Had his first yesterday. So that's really exciting.
Yesterday.
Yeah. So my third nibbling, as they're called. My first niece is with my brother, and then I've got 2 nephews on my wife's side. And one was just born last month. So we got a couple little tiny ones, which is awesome.
Wow.
So that's exciting. I had a little bit of moving going on. We were doing some renos that finally finished. I finally got to move back home, and all the wonderful unpacking and organizing and dealing with final details of that chaos. Some crazy stuff going on the company side. We did some really pros and cons. We tried to do this really cool merger that ended up going through, which is unfortunate, but we've done some really cool work with some clients recently. I can't share all of it because I know one of them wants to do a whole case study around it, but basically we took a couple insights that if you followed me at all the things I talk about constantly, literally constantly, they took it to heart. They got the retailer to sign off, called me up to do some design work for them to help make sure it really popped. And they got massive results, as high as a 500% lift at one store. So, massive impact.
Wow.
So that's been really, really exciting. And that one in particular, I'm dying for them to get this case study because I'm going to promote the heck out of it.
Yeah.
Just because it's one of those things, people think I'm a very talented marketer. And the reality is I'm not a marketer. I come from business consulting. I am a general business guy who knows how to do research and identify trends. It's what I do at my agency. I have very talented marketers within my agency. I actually do design and develop tactics and the real strategy. I do big picture stuff and some of the smaller tactical things here and there, but like they do the actual execution. So some of the things I talk about come from places of like deep knowledge, deep expertise, but I don't always have the proof to show that it's going to do what it is. It's these other brands have done it, but I haven't done it myself, but I know it should work based on these brands doing it. And so this one in particular is one that I've been championing for a long time, and they are so thrilled with the results, as is the retailer, obviously. So it's very exciting for me to see that type of result come through.
Awesome.
So that's really exciting.
That sounds like another podcast. Just saying.
Oh, yeah. The second he puts it out there, I will promote it. I'll send it to you. We'll hop on and talk all about it for sure.
The podcast.
And then when we see it come out, we'll go find the link to book you in your.
Yeah.
I hear that you got a link somewhere on somewhere pages. I got to find them out, but there's something about a TTL, TTP, TTP, STP. I don't know, something like that.
That's exciting.
Yeah, very, very exciting.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's been
impressive.
fun. That's been really fun. So
everything else results. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it was the range was like 300 to 500% across the stores.
Huge.
So huge. It's another founder, or actually he's not the founder. He just heads up their marketing and sales. I was talking to him about it, and he goes, "Yeah, but percentages are nice, but what's the actual impact there in terms of numbers?" And I can't share this on this forum just because it's confidential, but I'm like, no, there's actually like real unit and case numbers behind this. We're not talking about like one pen and now we're selling 3 pens. We're talking cases. We're talking like real volume difference. And he's like, oh, that's actually really impressive. Like, I know, because it's one of those things. Percentages are great because they can hide a lot of what the real numbers are.
Yeah,
so,
you know what? They can. Because if your base is low, for sure. But you know what? No matter what, you went from 2 a month to 6 a month. So you do it 3 times. That's
still
3
big.
times. 3 times. I mean, at least it can be done.
Yep.
How do you get it to 9? How do you get it to 12? I don't care, but it's better than going from 2 to 2.
Totally. And I mean, some of the I can share some of the thought behind it without revealing too much. So one of the big things that I talk about a lot with all these brands is you need to get off a shelf, right? When you're stuck in your category, buried in among all of your competitors, it's really tricky to be identified, discovered, purchased, etc. So finding those secondary locations is huge. You can talk to this. I share this type of stats all the time from different brands like Midday Squares and Snack Conscious and Toro Matcha. They do a display and they get like a 700%. Toro Matcha gets like 700% lift when they do a big display. Midday Squares discovered that if they can go over to the ready to eat, ready to drink, grab and go fridges, they see also. I think they have had anywhere from like a 350 to 700% lift from where they were over in natural because they're buried in natural. No one thinks to go look there. So understanding your consumer, being able to be close to products that either align to what yours is, you use them as an ingredient, you can make a meal out of them, all those things. If you stack those the right way and support it with the other thing is you always have to support whatever you're doing in store, outside of store. Talk about it on your social, talk about it in digital, go on podcasts and share that you're doing something really cool and crazy.
Right.
Integrated marketing.
Has to be.
Keep it together. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to do all of that, right? And so, at the core of the success that we've had with this one particular brand, it was we got them out of an aisle that was really tricky to be discovered in, got them into one of the top areas in the store, in my opinion, for discovery, which I share all the time, so I can share it here, is produce. Produce is still it's not easy to get in there. I get it. It's a challenge. You have to deal with multiple buyers. You got to get permissions from everyone. But if you can do it, there are so few brands there that you are going to stand out. There's a brand out west, out west for me, who is doing something very similar. And I talked to him and his marketers, and they did all themselves. all themselves. You know, I said I could do it for you, but honestly, you have an incredibly talented designer on your team. I sent them a few examples of what really great POP displays should look like. They already had a great call to action, and they saw, and the reason they invested all the cash into that, because we all know, you know, you're doing a POP, it's dropping easy 10K, if not even more. Yeah. He had done a little trial over the summer on his own with the retailer's permission, just dropping his stuff on right into produce with a little, I think it's even a handwritten sign, doing it all. And his orders, I think he had 4 or 5 reorders in the middle of summer for a baking mix. In the middle of summer in BC, with all the fires and everything, he was getting 4 or 5 reorders depending on the store, just because of placement, good call to action.
It's critical, man. And to your point, the produce guys, first off, they're not hard to talk to. What produce guys hate is giving up space for other departments.
Yes.
But if you can show them that if I put a cake mix in next to the berries that are going to go into the cake mix potentially. Yep. Seriously, it's the best department in the store because everybody shops produce.
Everyone.
Quite frankly, I don't think I can say that emphatically. Not everybody shops meat, dairy, bread, center. Everybody shops produce.
Everyone shops produce, and it's at the very beginning of the shop, right?
100%.
You're still full of energy. You're not stressed for not being able to find stuff, and you're the most there in the checkout. I think are probably the top 2 places where you're going to get that impulse purchase. At the beginning, you're hyped up, you're energized. You're like, I'm going to go. I'm going to do this thing. Like, oh, what's that thing right there? Catches your attention because you're looking for stuff.
Absolutely.
And then you get burnt out through the middle of the store, and then at the end, on your way out, that's the impulse. It's like, oh, that's a cool thing. Oh, it's in my price point. Oh, it actually matches what's in my cart already. I'll grab that to go with it, right? It's not conscious talks about that all the time in his stuff.
I totally agree.
Massive lift there.
Totally
It's an inspired shop too, right? Because produce is the one that
you're cooking.
You know, but like you're cooking, right? So if you go the other way, right? Anyone who's ever done this, you go, you know, I'd really like to have a steak today. So I'm going to go meat side first. And then you come out the other side and you realize like, all the other things that normally go with a steak are really shitty today, right? Like there's no zucchinis, there's no mushrooms, like the potatoes are super expensive. Now what, right? Now you go, fuck, you know what? Maybe not steak today,
maybe
right?
steak's not it today.
Yeah, maybe I got to go adapt. So produce is such a great place because
first place I start, I'll base the meal around the produce.
Yeah,
not around the protein.
Yeah.
I'll get a protein. I'm buying a protein.
Yeah.
Which one really dictates produce?
And there are some things like you go the middle of summer, if you buy peaches, right? Like Ontario peaches, right? Yeah. Like you go, holy shit, right? Like I want peaches. I want a whole pint of peaches. And then you realize like, I only eat like 4 of these, right? Like I got 18 more. What am I making? The only thing I know how to make is a cobbler. So what am I going to need, right? Like there's just all these things that are.
Totally. Yeah, and you know what? So I think Center Isle has a real opportunity over there. But you know, someone asked me if I could make the case for what was it? I think it was a skincare. She's like, you couldn't just get a lotion in them. Like, honestly, I could. It'd be a really tough sell, but I could create the
that's
story.
A tough one. If you could do that's cool. But
for the way I forget exactly what it was. It's something over in the health beauty area, and I said, you know what? I absolutely could because I would do it in the summer, and I would tee it up with a fruit, and take care of your gut, take care of your thing. You could make the case. The thing is, you have to get really creative. Would I ever suggest it? Absolutely not. It's a bad fit, but I could. Yeah. Being the key part there, but where I think where I see a lot of growth coming is twofold. So over in produce, all the prepared foods, not fully prepared, but they're ready to cook. Yeah. Right. Who is it? Post Holdings is just about to expand their offerings in that category with more, ready to go.
Everybody
Little Potato Company. I love that company to pieces. Yeah. I love the rebrand. I think it's incredibly cute and endearing. Yeah. And they've got some millions of dollars to double the production of their microwave ready and oven ready stuff. Yeah. And that's what consumers are looking for. We want fresh, but convenient and easy. And that's where that all fits. So that's an area where I see a lot of growth. And so Center Isle, if you can tap into that somehow, that make it quick, easy, big potential. The other one is frozen. And I've actually become a humongous fan of frozen products. Not that it works everywhere, because freezing it does cause things to happen to your fruits, veggies, and meats. Right? It is what it is. But it's not the freezing of yesterday where it's going to completely destroy your product. We're doing a lot of flash freezing.
Flash freezing is just as healthy, buddy. It's actually probably healthier. It's done within hours.
It's fresher.
What's done within hours?
that's it. It's hours. Yeah. Sometimes it's done literally. It comes off the thing, goes straight into the refrigeration thing. Like, it's done. Yeah. It's amazing. Yeah. And the challenge is, or not even the challenge. Lots of consumers are now heading to frozen because they've recognized that it's just as fresh, tastes just as good. I'm not going to try and defrost something to eat it with a dip because, like, let's be real, it's not going to work. But for the vast majority of uses, when you're cooking with it, you're going to be cooking and destroying the cellular structure anyway. So what do you care if it's a little beat up? And it's cheaper. Not always. You have to know your pricing, but it's becoming often way cheaper than fresh as well. And this is a lot of sustainability around it as well. A lot less food waste because you don't have to worry about something going bad. You're not going to use the whole bag. Cool. Chuck it back in the freezer. It's going to last.
We buy a lot of frozen vegetables for that reason. I mean, I buy a lot of fresh. But the thing is, I'm buying a fresh blueberry in Vancouver in March. Let's just be very clear, all of us. There are no fresh blueberries in Vancouver in March. Let's just get that out there now. So the fact is, but you
should just get the blueberries and go buy the fresh pineapples from.
Absolutely, because that pineapple and those blueberries have traveled more this year than I have.
Absolutely.
So there is no fresh. It's 2 weeks on the water, 3 weeks on the water, on a truck, whatever. If you go get frozen, literally 99 times out of 100 is flash frozen within 2 hours. Sometimes, to your point, very fast. It's the taste and flavor is way better than the fresh that is not fresh.
I literally just finished watching a video with my wife as we had lunch today. There's a group out of the UK called Sorted Food. It's a YouTube channel. They have a whole community around them. They have a food meal planning app that we pay for as well. Actually, we're part of that community. I'm a scratch cook. I don't need their recipes, but it takes a little bit of planning off my head and makes it a little bit faster, convenient for it's like $10 a month. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll do that. Easy. And their whole thing is whatever you buy fresh is used by the end of the week. So no food waste. It's their big push. But they just did another video where they have two of their team blindfolded, taste two dishes, one made with fresh, one made with frozen, and can you tell which is which? And often you can, but they say, you know what, honestly, don't care. And in some cases, they did corn, like whole cob corn, some frozen, some fresh. And this is in the UK, so slightly different. And they said, honestly, the frozen's better for the reasons we're talking about. It's frozen super fresh, right at the field, so it's a little bit mushier, sure, but you know what? A little bit. I mean, the corn happens to hold up really well to freezing. So he's like, it's a little bit waterier, but you know what? The flavor is way better. It's sweeter. It tastes more like corn. And there's other stuff that's kind of dry and kind of more chewy and mealy.
Well, it's just bland. Buddy, get a strawberry outside. Get a strawberry out of the season. Get this frozen. Like we do frozen blueberries. We'll do frozen mixed berries. Why? Because the other things too, my waste is way less. Because all you do is I take out what I need, back in the freezer it goes. And it is less expensive because there's less waste.
Yep.
I'm saying, again, it doesn't work for everything, to your point. You know what, though? But, flash frozen, like, just so we're all clear, all the sushi grade fish we eat is flash frozen.
100%.
Doesn't come off the boat and stay fresh, guys, until we get, otherwise we'd all be dead because it takes too long to move.
What?
I know, Phil, that's shocking. But you know what I mean? It's the flash freezing is a big. It's anyway. I'm with you. I don't get why.
No. I mean, consumers are really starting to get on board now, and I think this is an opportunity for all these center aisle brands. I just talked to so many of them, like, oh, I don't know where to go. It's so expensive. Like, go into frozen, team up with a frozen brand, and like do a little bit in store. But this is where if you go with an integrated model, push it through your social. Do it. Go and get your champions. Get user generated content to do it. Don't use your heavy branded stuff because it doesn't work, particularly on platforms like TikTok, where I get served a branded video and it's Toyota showing me their car. I don't care about your car. Now you show me someone doing a cool road trip, checking out the top 5 food places in Southern Ontario. Yeah. I'm going to watch that whole thing. And by the way, they're driving a beautiful new Toyota. I'm looking at the logo the entire time. In the back of my head, I'm thinking that's a really slick car.
Yeah.
You don't even mention the car.
But it's a legit review then, right? Because for every moment that I put my coffee down and it doesn't spill, or I've got room for camera gear, or I'm shoving stuff in, or I'm climbing a mountain, guess what I'm thinking? I know that Toyota. I've seen them do it. I followed them for 5,000 kilometers.
Right.
So I'm going to go.
Without even following them, right?
Like,
because I was following the other parts, but I'm thinking, what was that truck they used? Oh yeah, that was a time.
Yeah. Because look at that. Why do you think Sprinter vans are so famous right now. Like Mercedes Sprinter, they've been around forever, right? But in van life, everyone uses a Sprinter van. So what do? Everyone goes, well, I have to have a Sprinter. Like Dodge makes one, GM makes one, everybody makes one. But you only want the Mercedes ones because that's the one that everybody uses. Right. They don't talk about it at all. It just shows up everywhere, right? Like,
so building off that, have you seen the current Pace salsa ads? They're on YouTube, they're on TikTok, they're everywhere.
Yes.
So I'm really torn on them. So the whole concept behind them, Kenny, is that they say bland gets left behind or bland gets forgotten, something to that effect. Yeah. Whereas big flavor gets finished. So it's people scraping out the bottom of their Pace salsa jar to put it on top of different things. Right. It's very heavily branded. There's no way around it. However, I kind of like it because they're not just showing the stereotypical dippy and chip, look at our salsa, rah. This is now an ingredient that you can use instead of tomato sauce or all these other things. So
and not the one I'm going to throw out, because I'll tell you right now, I've probably got 2 salsas that are half done in the fridge that are going to go out. I mean, I hate to say it because I hate wasting, but just so we're all clear.
Oh, for sure. And the thing is, and this is the other thing too, I think there's a lot of these packaged goods who have these, I just trashed Kellogg's for saying cereal for dinner, which is not new for
dinner, by the way, guys. I was good with that. The messaging was stupid, but I kind of thought, well, I've done that.
Well, and me too. And the reality is, this isn't new for them either. They've done cereal for other meal occasions throughout history.
The chicken part, you've got your protein.
That's the part that really, I didn't like that one. But I think that there's this opportunity for all these brands who are either stuck in a pantry and not used as often, or kind of like your salsas. You get halfway through, what am I going to do with this now? Unless I just made a bunch of lasagna the other day, and I went through my fridge. I'm like, I have an open salsa. I've got 2 things of different tomato sauces open. It's all going in there, making a new sauce out of all of it. It's done. It's dealt with. Yep. So I'm throwing it into a soup. There's something. There's all this opportunity for brands just to start creating content around alternate uses of their product. It doesn't have to be a co-brand. Use it yourself. And it creates something I'm talking about all the time these days on LinkedIn. If you follow the content, is it shows value. It gives value to your consumer of here's how you can use this in other ways. You can reduce food waste. You're more environmentally friendly. Build all this wonderful narrative around it. And it takes you no time really to create it. It takes you nothing.
It takes you an iPhone and a little video. If they didn't want to get slick, I know big companies will get slick, but you know what? Maybe show you how to sub a salsa for a ketchup. I don't care if that's true or not. Give me something. The sauce and a sauce. Okay, I was a little bit ballsy guy. I mean, I love you, but that's a little out there for me. That's okay.
I love the salsa ads.
I'm going to go make a pasta sauce as soon as we get off this. But you know what I mean? But I'm thinking, okay, but it's tomato based. You can play with this, but give me something. Show me how to make a barbecue sauce. Do something.
Anything.
Yeah. I don't mind the salsa. Like you're right, because they're branded to hell, but. I like it. One of my most favorite marketing campaigns is still like when WD-40. You remember WD-40 did this campaign where there were like 100 uses for WD-40,
yes.
Right? And you kind of go.
We know WD-40 is not the cleanest product in in Just get that out there now.
There's no way around it, right? Like everybody has WD-40.
Everybody.
So I don't care who you are, like you have it, and like each collectively, we probably have like 5 uses for WD-40, 100%. But you could never go without a can, and you probably have like 8 cans in the house because you're like, where did I put that can? Like, I don't know. It's got to be in the garage. It's not in the garage. It winds up in your toilet or your bathroom. I don't know why, right? So, like, I love that commercial, and so the salsa one was the same thing to me. Was like, we totally get it, right? Like, you think that this goes with a tortilla chip, and that's it. So do that shit. Like, let's just show you the 18,000 ways that you can use it. I love it. Like, I was
Greek wedding with the Windex.
I don't care that it was branded to hell. Like,
no, I loved it. Right, like, and you don't have to do like new recipes either. I think the classic waffle. Right, let's think waffles for a second. Waffles by default, you think breakfast, except chicken and waffles are a thing and have been a thing forever. And waffles are like, you have that for lunch, you have that for dinner. And I always like to go. Beyond the fact that I love global cuisines and, I'm championing, not just me, all of Canada right now is championing international, and retailers are finally starting to shake up what they're doing in store to bring all those different aisles into just one big sauce aisle. I cannot wait for the day
Thank
to just
God.
one aisle.
Thank God.
Thank goodness for that. But you look internationally at what breakfast is. Like, some of my favorite, like when I was traveling in Southeast Asia, two of my favorite places to travel for breakfast were Southeast Asia, because I'm just going to go and get a bowl of pho. Give it to me, nice, warm, hearty noodle broth, delicious. Give it to me at 6 a.m. with a big, like one of their super strong coffees, and I'm good. There, and then the Middle East, right? Give me the yogurt and the cheese and the veggie and the amazing. But it's all stuff that you suggest that here to your standard North American. They're like, whoa, what? That's not a breakfast food. Since when? We all eat cold pizza growing up. I mean, I did anyways. You wake up the next morning.
It's better than the night before. Cold pizza for breakfast is like, don't warm it up either for toast. Don't do it.
No.
Cold. It's the best.
It's so funny that, just to that, I was talking to, I don't know if you know Opal over at Stush Patties. I'm going to call her out just because I love her product, and she's brilliant. She's one of the smartest founders I know, just because she's been doing her own manufacturing. She's broken it down to, anyways, brilliant woman. We were talking about her products, which are sold frozen, and we were trying to talk about some of her, where she could kind of expand. And I'm always coming with like food service and get ready to eat. She goes, one of my retail partners has actually started, having them just as a refrigerated product, as a grab and go. And they were telling me that Canadians just grabbing them and starting to eat them just like fridge temperature. And I'm like, yeah, us Canadians are okay with eating things at room temperature. Like we're kind of okay with that as a general rule. It comes from the pizza, but I know a ton of people who will do it. It's like, it seems so weird to me. I'm like, look, it means I can eat it quickly, fast, don't have to worry about burning my mouth. And if I'm on the go, I don't have time to heat it up.
I don't know.
I'm just grab and go.
I eat lots of things cold, like weird shit that most of the family goes, what? Like, but I don't know if I could eat a patty cold.
I think you could.
What kind of patty are we talking?
Jamaican patties. Delicious.
I could do that.
You're talking about Opal from Stush Patties, right?
Yeah, Stush. Yeah,
I could do that.
For sure.
Cold steaks, cold patties, cold pizza, cold pasta.
Yeah, it's all that.
Cold fried chicken is some of the
cold
best.
Fried chicken is like phenomenal. The grease, it's a whole different level of wow.
Yeah, right. And again, Phil, you're saying you couldn't do it. I'm willing to bet that if you were to do it, you'd be like, oh, you know what? I get it.
Yeah, you could do it.
It's the mental block, right? It's the, oh no, that's a hot food. It can't be eaten cold. It's a hot food. You're like, no. Why does it have to be hot? Right? And the same way, like, why are waffles just for breakfast?
Well, why is bacon and eggs not dinner? I love bacon and eggs.
Right.
Love bacon and eggs at dinner.
Speaking of that, that's an amazing campaign from Eggs Canada when they're like, eggs are for an every time food.
Why aren't they? Why can't you have an egg? A dinner time, like a fried egg and whether you like ham, sausage, bacon, any meat sub, any non-meat, I don't care what. That's a phenomenal dinner.
Oh, for sure.
Come on.
For sure. Do that. Like, look, you want to make it a little bit more dinner oriented? Cool. Do a fried rice and throw that in, or do bibimbap with egg on top, right? Like, again,
do whatever you want.
I cook a lot, but eggs are a huge part. We eat it all the time.
Oh no, come on. Like Chinese style eggs with tomatoes in it.
Oh yeah.
Bring it. Oh yeah. There's
so many things.
The name of the dish. There's a sauce. I'm not gonna be able to get the name right. But it's a really simple Vietnamese soup. It's tomato and egg just kind of stirred through. I want to say it's not bun. It's
no, it's not bun.
No. It starts with a B though. There's a American chef who's married a Vietnamese woman. She's now living over there. Chad, I blanked on his last name too. But he's the one who got me back into cooking all this really easy to cook Vietnamese because I love the flavors. I always forget it's such simply a complex food. And it's not hard to make. And he got me back onto it. But like he's like, oh yeah, we're making this thing with tomato. We're gonna crack in a bunch of eggs. I'm like, yes. Made that for my daughter. Literally that dinner with a little bowl of rice on the side. Oh, forget
it. Any culture who uses tomatoes, eggs are part of it because eggs and tomatoes are lovely. They love each other.
Oh yeah.
In any format, whether it's a ketchup with just highly vinegared and sugared, all the way down to the tomato.
Totally.
Anywhere in between.
Just add a little bit of salt in there and a little bit of extra MSG just to bump it up, and you're golden. It's so good.
How come I can't remember what that? It's like an egg drop soup almost, but it's not.
Yeah. I'd love to look it up, but I have it saved in a video buried on my phone, somewhere in my photo reel. But I'll find the name and send it to you because it's amazing.
You know what I was going to tell you? There's a guy on YouTube that goes around trying breakfasts all over the world. It's amazing. All he does. He's called Kwok, KWOOWK. I know that. And that's all he does. Is he goes around like trying and rating breakfasts. Like, so he had like street food from Amsterdam, like breakfast street food, and
like all these sort of like things that anyway.
It's the boys over at Sorted who are out of London, UK, but they've done a few different series of global cuisine. So they've done like global breakfast where they'll serve it up, and the guys have to try and guess what country it's from. So they do it with that. They do it with holiday foods. They do it with snacks. It's why I love that channel, man. It's a great educational channel. It's fun. It's educational. It makes you want to go and cook. And like I've definitely seen them make something and go, that looks insane. I've never heard of it before. I would have never thought of doing it. Let me go find a recipe. And sometimes you try and look it up, and like you can only find websites that aren't in English, and the translations are atrocious. And so you figure it out. And I mean, I have a ton of reference cookbooks from all sorts of things now, just because I'm like, okay, I need someone who can explain to me at least the basics, and then I can iterate off of that. The thing
is, even in language, like the fact that video has been like phenomenal for cooking.
Yes.
Because even the 2-minute videos, I don't need you to as long as you just somewhere. Just give me an idea what the ingredient is. I know what you're doing. I get the it's cooking. Who gives a shit about measuring? We're not baking.
You need to see it. Like even bread. Like
I want you to show me what you're doing. You have to talk. Just give me
bread
video.
in the recipe book has been shitty, right? But as soon as you could see someone make bread, all of a sudden it's like, oh, I get it. I understand.
Yeah, totally.
I get what I'm supposed to do now, right? So
for sure. I would say the last easily 3, if not 4 cookbooks that my wife and I have purchased are from content creators whose recipes we love so much that we buy the cookbook, partly so we have the reference, but mostly because we want to support that content creator, right? Yeah. And if you do, it's because we see it get so inspired by what they're cooking. We go, oh, that looks amazing. And some of them have like spun off from like Bon Appetit. John Kung down in Buffalo is doing some crazy stuff with bringing Asian cuisine to the forefront. I just got his book. It's great. It's amazing. He's got like, I have his recipe in there. I think he calls them Thunder Bay ribs, because it is something he tried when he was up in Thunder Bay as a kid, and he's like, it's not a Chinese recipe. I don't really know what it is, but here's my recreation of it. Guys, it looks insane. The next page is like s'more wontons. And I'm like, I'm here for this. I am here. I'm in. I want to make that now. Give me your cookbook so I can get that recipe. And it's awesome.
No, I totally get it. So if people want to reach out on LinkedIn, you want to DM me with shit that's got nothing to do with anything, talk food.
Yeah, 100%.
You might get a response out of me. If you know I love food and you can share a recipe, I'll even take the freaking human resource one.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you just for funsies.
Honestly, if you reach out to me and you want to talk food, I will talk food for hours. It's really funny. It's slightly adjacent to this, but I share a lot of stuff, obviously, and I don't really talk about what I do so directly in my content, and I need to get better about that. I met a guy not too long ago at a trade show, and we're chatting, and he goes, "Oh, wait, hold on. I know who you are now. I could have sworn you were a journalist talking about the food and beverage industry." And I went, honestly, compliment to me, man. I'll take that.
Is like
I love that. That's
stellar
amazing.
compliment.
That's
right.
amazing.
Like, I wish you knew that I was an agency because I could totally help you, but that's totally cool because that means I have your trust already because you don't think I'm an agency guy, and I'm down with that.
Down with that, baby.
And I was a founder at the time too, it shouldn't hurt. But it's you want to get my attention?
Food, baby.
Food does it every time.
Food. I love food. Love eating.
We should next time Kenny's in town.
Yes, go for it.
We should. So in the fall, we should cook something together.
Oh, I would even do that.
We'll record and cook together. I think that'd be fucking.
That would be
awesome.
amazing.
That'd be
totally down for that.
Yeah.
Oh,
so Kenny and I are Kenny's not going anywhere. I'm going out west for CHFA West, and his episode hasn't aired yet, but Emrit, who runs Coho Kitchen, we are going to be recording from one of his kitchens, actually.
Oh, wow.
I know. So like, I'm super stoked. Like, we're going to do some video. We're going to, so that's going to be really fun, but we should figure that out. Maybe we find a commissary kitchen here in Toronto that we could do something in. That would be.
You guys got till September, so figure it out between the two of you. Just tell me where I'm going.
Yeah. Maybe you and I will get together and cook a ton of shit, and then we'll just we'll zoom you in or something.
Here's what we'll do. We'll make it. We'll flash freeze it. We'll put it on a plane and get it out to you.
Yeah.
You know what? I liked you guys for the first 54 minutes.
Yeah.
Not liking the two of you anymore. So we're both all clear, the three of us. Not liking the two of you.
Oh my god. This has been amazing. Jared,
you do this more often. Like if you get bored, like just same thing. I don't know where the link is, but you got it somewhere in our messages on LinkedIn. Just book a time.
You know what? So So we're doing a couple of like really fun collabs, right? So one of them is with
Jeff,
Field Agent, with Jeff Doucette. And so he comes on once a month, more or less, right? And then we do Grumpy Couch together. So we were talking about CEBA loans, what it really means, people being able to pay, not pay, right? And so we do this Grumpy Couch thing. It'd be fun to get you on just to take a pulse of the market, you know, on a regular basis. That would be really fun as well.
I like it. I mean, because I actually, I don't read a lot of people's posts. I do read most of yours. Some I don't, because you get a little long and I get tired. I don't.
Yeah, no, I know. I need to make them shorter and snappier. But see, here's
no, you can't though, because then it's not you. Because then I won't read them either. Because I'd be thinking, "You're fake. What are you doing? Don't listen to me." I'd be thinking, just do the long post. I'll read it. I'll just piss and moan through it.
Yeah, honestly, a few people have been like, "Dude, you should split that up." And you have like 17 posts in one. I'm like, yeah, but here's the thing: the posts I write are the posts that I read. So stuff that I want all the content. I want you to give me 18 different sources, all combined. And yeah, you're going to give me 6 different examples of different things, but I want all of that because it shows me everything that's going on.
And it shows me in one place. Now I can go back, because sometimes I'll just go, okay, I read the first part, good enough, and then I'll think, okay, I should finish it up, and then I'll go back.
Yeah, well, and I try to put the some of the key stuff in those first 4 lines, right? Like the top 2 hooks, like here's what's going on. You want the details? Scroll through, and the takeaways are buried at the bottom. If you want to,
I like them. I like them. Don't change them.
I really appreciate it.
Don't change them, because if you change them now, I'm going to know. I'm going to say, "Geez, man, you caved? Like really?"
No, that's
I'm just going to walk around telling everyone that Kenny ruined your LinkedIn post.
Yeah.
He's not going to listen to me anyway. I don't want
Look at what he did to Jared. Kenny, he ruined all his posts. That's what's gonna happen. We love it, man. Thanks for jumping on.
If anybody wants to find you, just in case they want to see these posts now that we've talked about, the best way to find you?
LinkedIn, my man. It's where I live, breathe, and die these days, is on LinkedIn. All my contacts there. You wanted to talk further, have a one-on-one, do some research. It's all right there.
Yeah, you got to work for it. But it's worth it. So
it's worth the work. Awesome.
Love you, man.
Awesome. Love you guys too.
Love you too, buddy.
As always. We'll chat soon.
Get organized and book something.
We'll organize it. Yeah. We'll do it for sure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's awesome. Okay.
Awesome.
Take care.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
He's always fun.
Why not, Kligerman? Why
He's
not?
always fun.
Yeah. Why not?
He's always fun.
Oh my gosh! And then like the food.
Well, I mean, listen. Anybody loves food. I mean, how do you? Okay. There's. Yeah. I mean, really.
Yeah.
What else? What else is life? Without food? Really? Come on. Anyway, thanks for listening, everybody. Because I think we got to burn into another podcast.
We do. All right. Thanks for listening.
Ciao, ciao.